Hey everybody, Swami73 here from Vapotron, E-cig Advanced, and ECF. Just wanted to go over a few things that I had questions about that I wasn't sure about when I first started vaping. For those of you who might have questions, I wanted to cover today the difference between variable voltage and variable wattage, which some people are calling variable power, which is a bit misleading in my opinion. From my understanding, when e-cigs first took off, the power of the device, how much power you could get out of it, was from your battery. So people were trying to get bigger and bigger batteries in order to be able to have more power on their device. Then variable voltage came out, where you could adjust the power of your device, how much power was going through it, regardless of the battery you had. But you really needed an ohm meter or something to check the resistance for your device so that you didn't fry whatever it is you were putting on it. For example, what I'm using today is the VAMO. It's a variable wattage and variable voltage device. What I have on it today is the DID clone. I'm too cheap to have the original, sorry, I've got a clone. But it works fantastic. Where variable voltage is very handy to have is when you switch whatever it is you're using. For example, if I take off my DID clone, which this one right now, the coil I made is running right at 2.2 ohms. If I put this atomizer on it, just what I use for dripping, and I check my ohms on this one, this resistance or ohms is at a 2.6. So if I'm using variable voltage and I want to be able to push more power through it, which in essence changes the flavor and the throat hit, and sometimes even the vapor of a juice, I can adjust the voltage based on the resistance or the ohms to get a different flavor or a different throat hit from the same juice. Some people like a very hot vape. Some people like a really good throat hit. That's actually what I prefer, is a good throat hit. A good flavor, of course, but a good throat hit. So for variable voltage, you control basically the input, what you're pushing through your mod. That's the best way I can, in an analogy. If I have something on my personal vaporizer, my PV, the unit, the mod, whatever you want to call it, I can adjust the voltage depending on what I've got on it. If the device that I have on my mod is very low ohms or very low resistance, then I want very low power going through it, because if you have too much power going through a certain device, you can fry the device. You can literally cook it. You put too much power through it. I guess it would be like putting your microwave on the highest setting for 2 minutes longer on your popcorn than you're supposed to, and everybody knows what burnt popcorn smells like. It's not pleasant. Same with vaping at too high of a voltage. If you don't fry your coil or whatever kind of device you have on your mod, it's going to taste like crap. So if variable voltage controls the amount of power you put through the device, I hope I'm not oversimplifying this or just flat out stating it wrong. Variable wattage would be controlling the output, what comes out of the device. So this particular mod can be set at variable voltage or variable wattage. Now that I have a device that has variable wattage, I can't see myself ever going back. Every time I put a new device on this mod, if I'm using variable voltage, I need to check my ohms to see where it's at before I vape it. Because if I have, say, a standard resistance, 3.5, 3.6 resistance or ohm cartomizer or an atomizer on here, and I'm vaping it at, say, 6 volts, and it tastes fantastic, well, then I take it off and I put a 1.3, and if I still have it set to the same volts, I can fry it because I'm pushing too much juice, too much power, so to speak, through that device. So by having variable wattage, it controls what's coming out, not what's going into it. So it automatically adjusts to make the output of what you're tasting the same, if that makes sense. So I find that I like right about 10 watts. So if I set this device at 10 watts, it doesn't matter what I put on here at all. I just screw it on, and it's automatically going to be within the ballpark of what I like to vape. If I have a 3.5 ohm cartomizer, if I have a 1.3, it doesn't matter. I don't have to check what my resistance is to make sure I don't fry my device or end up with a nasty, charred, burnt taste. I keep this one at 10 watts, so when I vape it, that's good to me. This juice in this rebuildable atomizer, take it off, put another one, it doesn't matter. This it's kind of like I don't want to say a smart E-cig, but in essence it is. It controls the output of it. So it adjusts to make sure that what's coming out of the device is 10 watts, regardless. So if variable voltage is what you're putting into the device, variable wattage is what comes out. In my opinion only, it is far superior. I don't have to check it. It's kind of just like plug and play. I just screw in whatever I want to my mod, and I vape and go. I love it. I think it's far superior. My shameless plug for the Vamo. I love it. It's heavy enough to be a boat anchor. Some people hate that. I love it. I can use it for self-defense if I have to. It's heavy. It's sturdy. It has variable voltage. It has variable wattage. It has an RMS mean setting, which I'll never use it again once I set it. But it's got the metal buttons. It's got different battery configurations. I got this one off VaporBank during the Christmas special for $39.99 for the tube only. In my opinion, you can't beat it. You absolutely cannot beat it. So there goes my shameless plug for the Vamo. That's the best way I can describe variable voltage, variable wattage in the simplest terms that I know how. Hopefully I wasn't too far off base. There's a lot of techies out there that have numbers and stuff and go, well, you're wrong. Just trying to make it simple for people who are just learning. I hope that was close enough. Again, I'm Swami73 on Vapotron, E-cig Advanced, and ECF, and Swami73 on YouTube. Look me up. Thanks a lot.